In the relentless pursuit of financial success and social acceptance, we are conditioned to believe that safety is found in numbers. We study the crowds, we follow the trends, and we invest in what everyone else is investing in. We fear standing alone more than we fear being wrong. This phenomenon, known in psychology as the herd mentality, is the single greatest destroyer of independent thought and the most common cause of financial and strategic ruin. The question is not if you follow the herd, but when the herd will lead you off a cliff. This is a story about David, a young, highly promising corporate executive who learned that the price of belonging is often the loss of your own authority. His lesson came from Cato, the alpha stallion who stood alone. David was brilliant but anxious. His primary goal in his competitive technology firm was to secure his position and, above all, belong. He believed that the safest path to success was through consensus. He never offered an original opinion that might be controversial. He invested his money only in the stocks that every financial guru on television was praising. He dressed, spoke, and even thought in conformity with his successful, yet painfully conventional executive peers. His life was a perfect reflection of the herd. His career flourished, but his spirit suffocated. He felt a creeping sense of panic, knowing he was sacrificing his true conviction for the illusion of safety. This crisis came to a head when David's company faced a critical billion-dollar decision regarding a new market pivot. The entire senior leadership team, comprised of powerful and intimidating voices, was leaning toward the most aggressive, popular, and ultimately risky decision. David knew, deep in his analysis, that the move was deeply flawed. He had the data, he had the insight, but he remained silent. The fear of being the only dissenting voice, the fear of losing his herd status was crippling. The unanimous decision was made, and David walked out, knowing he had betrayed his own intellect for the illusion of safety. His frustration led him to the remote ranch owned by his uncle, a renowned expert in natural horsemanship. David found his uncle, the quiet expert, standing near a large enclosure housing a herd of over 20 horses. The leader of this herd was Cato, a massive, dark-coated stallion. Cato was the picture of quiet, effortless authority. He rarely moved quickly, and he never shouted. He simply was. David explained his corporate dilemma to his uncle. "I know the decision was wrong, but if I had spoken up, I would have risked my entire career. Safety is in the group, isn't it?" His uncle pointed toward the herd. "Watch them, David. The horse herd is the purest model of social conformity. They survive because they move as one, but they also die because of the same principle." He then demonstrated the herd mentality trap. He introduced a new, unfamiliar sound, a subtle, high-pitched whistle, to the field. The effect was instantaneous and startling. The entire herd, 30 magnificent animals, immediately lifted their heads in synchronized terror. They didn't analyze the sound, they didn't assess the threat. They reacted based on the cumulative panic of the group. One horse started trotting, and within 2 seconds the entire herd was galloping frantically in a tight, panicked circle. They were following the energy, not the logic. "Look at them," the uncle instructed. "They are wasting precious energy and risking injury because they are running from fear, not to a solution. This is how the market panics, David. This is how bubbles burst. They are confusing motion with progress." He then pointed to Cato. Cato was the only one who had not panicked. The alpha stallion had lifted his head, analyzed the subtle sound, and then, finding no immediate physical threat, he lowered his head and continued to graze calmly. He allowed the others to panic, conserving his energy and his judgment. The moment Cato resumed grazing, the entire herd, exhausted by their panic, slowly calmed down and returned to grazing as well. The uncle explained the profound lesson. The true leader of the herd is not the one who runs the fastest, but the one who can remain stillest when everyone else is running. "Your problem, David," his uncle stated, "is that you are a follower pretending to be a leader. When you remain silent and follow the flawed consensus of your boardroom, you become just another panicked horse. You surrender your best asset, your intellect, to the group's lowest common denominator of fear." The uncle then gave David his task, to earn Cato's respect and lead him across the pen. David tried his old techniques, shouting, waving his arms, trying to dominate. Cato's reaction was immediate, outright aggression and dismissal. Cato knew David's energy was inauthentic and frantic, a reflection of the panic he felt in his own boardroom. The turning point came when David remembered the lesson of the herd. Cato only followed when he knew the leader was not in a state of flight. David stopped moving. He stood still in the center of the pen, forcing himself to breathe, slowing his heart rate, and focusing only on the intention. I will walk calmly to the other side, and Cato will follow. He had to achieve true congruence. His mind, body, and will had to align in quiet certainty. After 10 minutes of standing perfectly still, Cato, sensing the genuine shift in stability, cautiously approached. David then began to walk, slowly, deliberately, his energy conserved. Cato followed, calmly and respectfully. David had established strategic independence. He was not reacting to the horse's fear, nor was he imposing his own panic. He was simply executing his clear intention. He learned that the true alpha horse conserves energy. They don't waste power on unnecessary movement or panic. They move only with purpose and absolute clarity. David returned to his company and, at the very next critical executive meeting, he applied the Cato principle. When the leadership team began to escalate the panic over a failed project, David did not shout. He remained silent until the room was screaming for a decision. Then he spoke calmly and deliberately, presenting his original, well-researched analysis. He was the only voice of dissent, but because his energy was absolutely congruent, calm, data-driven, and devoid of fear, his words cut through the noise of the panic. His data forced the team to pause, something they rarely did. The CEO, sensing the authenticity and the lack of personal agenda in David's presentation, stopped the vote. They reassessed the data, and David's analysis was proven correct. David had risked his career by standing alone, but in that moment, he earned something far more valuable than job security: genuine respect and authority. He realized the greatest safety is not found in the herd, but in the power of independent judgment. The greatest investment lesson is that true wealth is never found by following the crowd. Whether it's following a popular stock tip, chasing the latest fad, or agreeing to a flawed business strategy, the herd mentality ensures that you buy high and sell low. The herd is where profits go to die. The horsepower mindset teaches us to cultivate strategic independence. Develop the inner stillness to analyze the threat when everyone else is running. Trust your data over the crowd's fear. Conserve your energy for decisive action, not for panicked reaction. Donovan had learned the critical truth. If you are only motivated to follow, you are wasting the one asset that matters most: your independent mind. The alpha leader is not the loudest, he is the stillest. He is the one who chooses logic over panic and conviction over conformity. Remember the story of Cato. When you feel the pressure to conform, to invest in the panic, or to follow the crowd, ask yourself, am I running from fear or am I walking with purpose? The power to lead yourself to success lies in your ability to stand still when the world is galloping in chaos. If this story reminded you of the power of independent thought, please like this video. Share it with your team or anyone who needs to find their voice in the crowd. And subscribe to Horsepower Mindset for more powerful lessons on strategic wealth and leadership. Tell me in the comments, in which area of your life, finances, career, or relationships, do you struggle most with the herd mentality?